Good morning and welcome. Thanks for joining us on Daybreak Africa today, reaching you from the Sunshine State of Ondo. Like we do it here, the program is a people's program created only for you. My name is Anire, Binitie. Thanks for joining us. I am not alone.
A very good morning to you, viewer. I remain Micheal Obagiri. As she has rightly stated, program meant for you and you alone.
Yes. So Micheal, we are a little bit apprehensive. We are anxious this morning. We always want to let our viewer know our state of mind, and today is a little bit different because we woke up this morning with a load on our shoulders. We were talking before we came on air. Irrespective of the topic we're going to talk today, but the sentiment is the same. From hiking food prices to hiking electricity tariff to insecurity in the nation to government policies, cybersecurity, you name it. Nigerians seem to be highly disappointed when it comes to expectation from the top to bottom. I really would want your feelings on the situation in the nation as we take a look at matters arising today.
I think as at this moment, my feeling and my reaction will go in line with a lot of Nigerians. Because if you are a Nigerian and you've been living in Nigeria, you've been around for at least for the past 1 decade, you can spot the difference from the situation as at this moment and how it was some years back. We know that the economy wasn't really fine in the first place, but it has gone from bad to worse as at this moment. A time that we have at this moment, you can't even get value for money. Okay, I want to buy this. You can't really say, okay, I've gotten value for what I've purchased. Now you are going to the market with a lot of uncertainty. Now, leaving that alone, you go back from the economy, you are going back to insecurity issues. You can't sleep with your 2 eyes closed. You are scared. Now, the fight before was, I want to be rich. Now, the fight is, I want to have money. At the same time, I'm fighting for the security of my life and property. To be alive. So, a lot of things really going, a lot of things are really going on. The government policy, some people will say they are being unreasonable. Some people are saying they are acting inconsiderate. Because when you hit people with taxation, I want to believe taxation should be a kind of business of a give and take. Now, for you to be able to have an effective way of taxation, you must also give something for them to have things in their pocket, so that when they say, okay, the government has done this for us, and now the taxpayers' money should be put to judicious use. We are not seeing this. And as you have rightly stated, we are in a situation of the expectations that we had on the government, the promises that were laid down, is like what we expected, and what we are getting is more of like what you ordered versus what you got. So we are not really happy as Nigerians. I want to say, anybody that is saying I am a happy person in Nigeria now, definitely that person must be someone that is really enjoying something from this present administration. Possibly maybe whatever is coming down from their table, the crumbs is getting to you. So maybe you feel like, the government is favoring me. But in reality, as Nigerians, we are not happy.
Yes, based on that reaction from Micheal, we'll take our first break to bring you our package for the day. When we return, we shall be taking a look at a very germane topic, which is state of the nation, matters arising. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
and increasing the electricity tariff. We are saying that Nigeria should not be shortchanged. This unvaluable policy should be stopped. Nigerians should be allowed to breathe. Enough is enough. We reject this totally. Nigeria should not suffer for the inefficiency of our leader. They should concentrate on distributing electricity and power to all electricity consumers. The argument is that if those customers on band A tariff is increased, they will enjoy electricity for more than 20 hours per day. Is this possible in this Nigerian day? Electricity is no longer supplied to the consumer, yet they are increasing the tariff. They are saying that 15% of the consumer are on this band A. Should the remaining 75% suffer? Should the 15% suffer for the inefficiency of our leader? That is why the National Secretariat directed us to seal up all the distributing companies in Nigeria, all the Nigeria Electricity Regulation Commission in Nigeria, and all their offices. Enough is enough.
Using this opportunity to express our displeasure and to tell our president, Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, as he has reverted that issue of cyber security levy, he should also compel Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission to do the same. That is what we are saying. They should revert back to the price we are paying. There mustn't be any increase in electricity tariff. That's the simpler demand we are requesting for.
Welcome back. Of course, it's the Daybreak Africa if you're just joining us, and I remain Micheal Obagiri. Before we went on for the package of the day, we said we're going to do justice to a lot of talking, especially looking into the state of the nation, matters arising, what is happening in Nigeria as a nation. And today we have somebody, I would say, is a guru when it comes to discussing situations like this. And his name is Chief Barrister James Adomokhai Akhigbe. I hope I did justice to the name and I didn't murder it. He's also he's an engineer at the university. He graduated as an engineer at the University of Ife, now OAU, read law at Lagos State University. He has a Master of Law from the University of Lagos, and he was called to Nigerian Law School and called to the Nigerian Bar in 2005. A very good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank
How are you doing today,
much.
sir?
I'm fine. It's my pleasure to be here.
Now, looking at the whole situation, we are going to be looking into the state of the nation, Nigeria, as our focus. Firstly, we like to go into the economy of the nation. Firstly, if you look at Nigeria's economy as at this moment, a lot of things are really going on. We feel like things are not going the way we feel they should be going. Now, if I were to ask you, as at this moment, what is going to be your number one take on Nigeria economy as at this moment?
My take on the Nigeria economy is that we are in a quagmire. The economy has been run aground. Yes, that is the summary of what is happening in Nigeria. The economy, the whole country is grounded. Nothing seems to be working. All the policies of the government have failed, at least for now. And there is no basis for optimism that things will turn around in the immediate future. That's my take.
Barrister, a lot of people, like you've submitted that the country is going through, especially the economy of the country is going through a quagmire, where there are people who are smiling home, as it were. The policies that a lot of Nigerians complain about, there are others who see hope, who believe in the policies. They seem to have positive things to say about the policies, even though majority of Nigerians will tell you they are dying under the weight of poverty. So how do you see that? Because I've had conversations where people will speak for the policies as against the policies. I would really want your reaction on this.
There are basically two reasons why you have opinions of some people who admire, as it were, the policies of this government. One reason is what I would call extreme partisanship. There are some people who are overly partisan. Whatever the government does, as long as it is a government of the party to which they belong, they will see anything wrong with it, at least publicly. The second reason might be that they are direct beneficiaries of bad policies. No matter how bad the policy is, there must be a few people who benefit from those bad policies. Basically, these are the two reasons why you have some people applauding policies that are manifestly anti-people.
So if democracy is supposed to be for the people, by the people, and everyone is supposed to partake in the dividends of democracy, if going by your submission, people for the policies that a whole lot of people complain is not working for them, now what hope do Nigerians have on the long run?
Well, as you rightly alluded to, the Constitution, the Chapter 2, which deals with the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy, ensures the government at any level to take the welfare of the people as its primary responsibility. It says in a nutshell, the welfare, the security and welfare of the people is the primary responsibility of the government. Any deviation from this set goal is a sure path or route to failure, to disaster. The policies of government are supposed to benefit overwhelming majority of the people. The greatest good for the greatest number of people. That should be the ideological or the opinion of any government. And if that is the yardstick, one can easily say that this government has not lived up to expectation.
All right, talking about living up to expectation, you've spoken about policies when you started the conversation. Now, I think there's things that people are really talking about as at this moment. They spoke about policies, the right policies, and the right implementation process. Now, this is a situation, do we have the right policy, and is it that we are not implementing them the right way? Is it that the timings of these policies being implemented are the wrong ways we are doing it? What are we really facing at this moment, especially when you look at it, the situation of we not really producing in Nigeria, which is really affecting our food supply. We can't even buy our things and get value for money as at this moment. Is it the right policy we have problems with, or the right implementation process?
I think to a great extent, it has nothing to really do with the policy. I think, let me use the example of removal of subsidy on petrol, on fuel. Across the political divide, there appears to be a consensus that the subsidy payment was becoming an albatross an economic burden on the government. It was an avenue to enrich a very few, very macroscopic percentage of the population. So it was agreed by the political leaders and people who are very discerning that it was necessary to do away with the subsidy of fuel. But there were certain fundamentals that ought to be put in place before that policy was implemented, and this was not done. Why is it that for the past 10 years or thereabout, none of our refineries has been made functional? Every year, we budget humongous amount of money in foreign currency for turnaround maintenance of the 4 refineries in Nigeria. What happened to the money? Has anybody been brought to book? Until we are able to refine our crude, it will be counterproductive to remove entirely subsidy on fuel. And even the implementation is opaque. It's shrouded in secrecy. You say that you have removed subsidy, but the World Bank has said that we still subsidize heavily. Recently, former governor of Kaduna, immediate past governor of Kaduna State, Malam El-Rufai, said that we are even spending more on subsidy than before this government came in. And this has not been reported. So where is the money coming? Because it's not budgeted. Under the Constitution, the federal government has no power to spend more dime in the consolidated revenue of the federation without appropriation by the National Assembly. So where is this money coming from? Because it's not in the present budget. And the subsidy you claim to have removed, you are surreptitiously still spending it. So there's policy substitute, and that has brought us to where the sorry state we are now.
Now talking about the policy somersault and talking about the situation about what we're talking about now, apart from El-Rufai making the statement or letting Nigerians know that this present administration is still paying subsidy, the IMF also have accused this present government of still paying subsidies because they say the figures do not tally. Now, again, when you talk about transparency and accountability, which is expected of every government in every sphere, how transparent do you think this government is at the moment, and what should Nigerians demand for in terms of this?
Yes, that is the most appalling aspect of the whole state of affairs. Even during the 8th year of Buhari government, we had different figures were bandied around as subsidies, running to trillions of naira. As we are talking, can anybody emphatically truly tell Nigeria the lardy cost of a liter of fuel. You have different agencies, different players bidding around different lardy costs. The majority of the marketers have told us that it costs 1,009 kobo to bring in a liter of fuel. Has that been verified? Who are the experts? Independent experts that worked on that. They are the claimants, they are the beneficiaries of the subsidy, and they are the one telling us the lardy cost. That can never be a part of transparency. We need an independent body to look into the books. The NNPC Limited, their books are not open. They are not open for scrutiny, for public scrutiny. Therefore, the government does whatever it lacks, what pleases it at any given time. And that is the major cause of the problem we are having in the petroleum sector.
All right, Barrister, now, talking about transparency and in government inclusiveness, when the government is to be run, you said there are things that are supposed to be done. They can't take a dime without doing the necessary moves. Now, the NLC president has said the government did not, and also with the BDC, they did not consult the necessary stakeholders before the hike in electricity tariff, which has caused a lot of uproar in the society in everywhere right now. What is your take on this? Do you think they are just doing whatever they feel is right? And also, he's also made a statement that giving some people 20 hours of power supply and giving some people 4 hours power supply doesn't mean that some Nigerians are better than another Nigerian. What is your general take on this? Do you think the government is really going about things the right way, especially talking about the publicity and also the clarity of where they are doing their things, not letting information known to people, just doing it the way they feel like?
That is the clear evidence of the arbitrariness of this government and his predecessor, the immediate predecessor, in conceiving and implementing policies. When a government deliberately embarks on ideological classification, branding some people as poor and therefore not deserving constant electricity supply, and classifies a group of people as belonging to Band A and to enjoy 20 hours electricity supply per day. It is an hallmark of a government that is confused beyond redemption. And even the Band A, they have complained that they are not enjoying up to 20 hours power supply. So where do you go from here? And how did you arrive at that figure? This is very arbitrary, very anti-people, and doomed to fail. And it has failed. So the organized labor is right to protest. I think yesterday they did some picketing, which is allowed under the labor laws of the land, to force the government to rethink, to reconsider its very bad policy. I don't know those advising President Tinubu. Look at this cyber crime. with the associated confusion. You hurriedly amended the law to inflict more pains on the people. There was no public hearing. Anybody telling you that there was, before that law was amended to include payment of levy, it's not business here to Nigeria. Where and when was the public hearing conducted? So all the policies are devoid of transparency. There's no human faith. Any policy that has no moral content, whose implementation is devoid of human faith, is bound to fail, is against the Constitution of Nigeria, and it is a violation, a renunciation of the social contract before the government and the people. So that is why there's a statement. Good enough, the president has suspended the implementation of the cybercrime levy. But what of the astronomical rise in the electricity tariff? People are crying. How can you be paying for darkness, for inefficiency? When did the Power Reform Act was passed in 2005. As since then, the electricity subsector of the economy has undergone a lot of changes and restructuring. When did we start paying subsidy? And to who? And for what purpose? Since Obasanjo, as of 2007, when Obasanjo left, the country was generating over 5,000 megawatts of electricity per day.
Very true.
Since several years after, how many megawatts have we added? What is the transmission capability of TCN? Nothing. The Obasanjo government embarked on the construction of 11 generating stations, power generating project under the PPP. What is the state of this project? The Omotosho, Palato, these are all part of the projects Obasanjo government embarked on. What happened after his exit?
Now, the question I want to ask now is, we're made to believe that we have 12 million grid-connected Nigerians, 12 million grid-connected customers. And again, we are made to believe that Nigeria sells power to neighboring countries. So when we still talk about transparency, we do not even know at what cost they sell to neighboring countries. From now coming back home from 66 naira per megawatts, we're now being asked to pay 225 naira, which is 15% increment, as it were.
Yes.
So how do you juxtapose the fact that we sell power to countries like to a country like Ghana, who has 24-hour power supply, and to back home where we supply the power for weeks, for months, we do not even have electricity. Even the band A, band B, band C they talk about, sometimes we get just 2 hours of electricity in 5 days cumulatively. I mean, it's. I would really want your take on this very, very unpredictable instances.
That is a clear manifestation of a confused government, a government that does not have direction. And but it did start. The sale of electricity to some neighboring countries did not start with this government. And it is, even those countries we are selling to, they are better in terms of electricity supply than Nigeria, than the supplier. And that is very ludicrous. You cannot say, it's like what we are doing in the petroleum sector, where we sell our crude to people instead of refining it here. Then they will refine, we buy the products. That is madness. That is why nothing works. No, where the Niger Republic, the military junta came here, one of the punitive measures this government back upon with some countries in the ECOWAS body was to cut off electricity supply. But now, with the semi-normalization of relations, this has been restored. This, as I said, these are clear evidence of policy somersault, lack of direction, lack of tact. It appears we take delight in backing of policies before thinking of the consequences of those policies. And when the consequences, the bad consequences of such policies stare on us, confront us, we begin to run from pillar to post. Yes, there's no clear direction as to where we are going. You don't have electricity, yet you are selling it, the little you have, to other countries. It does not make any good economic policy. It's counterproductive.
Yes, if you're just joining us, it is Daybreak Africa, where we're taking a look at State of the Nation matters arising. We'll take a short break now and return with the conversation with our guest still standing by. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Of course, if you're still joining us, it's today Daybreak Africa, your #1 program on television. And today we have a barrister in the studio with us via Skype, and we're doing a lot of discourse on states of the nation, matters arising. We've talked about the economy, talked about government policy. And right now, barrister, are you still with us?
Yes.
So now we'll be moving straight to talking about the next thing, which is insecurity.
Definitely.
It's a very big one now. Everybody wants us to talk about it, and of course we are going to talk about it. The situation of insecurity in Nigeria is on the high. In fact, the highest I've seen so far. Like now, presently what happened in Zamfara state, the abduction of people, killing of people, even the military are feeling the heat. What is your take on this situation as of this moment?
The escalating state of insecurity, the worsening state of insecurity in Nigeria, is a clear evidence of a failed government. I think one of the reasons people voted for Buhari in 2015 was that as a retired military general who was credited with a lot of military exploits, he would stem the tide, the ugly tide of insecurity. However, unfortunately, the security situation in the country deteriorated to the extent that even in his own state, Katsina became almost ungovernable. Before 2015, The insecurity in Nigeria was largely restricted to the northeast. But this has almost enveloped, covered the entire federation. The northwest is even worse than the northeast. Banditry, kidnapping, all over. And the military, as you alluded to, seems to be overwhelmed. Because where the military, when they tackle the insecurity in one area of the country, before you know it, or they move out, another area is faced with a worse situation than where they are coming from. So it's a very, very terrible situation. Even my younger brother was telling me this morning his experience when he was traveling to Kaduna. They had to pass some villages in the Niger State, and they got to a place. They thought they were military uniform. They thought they were Nigeria soldiers. But they stopped them and said, "You are not supposed to come to this part, to this area, because this is no longer part of Nigeria. We are in charge here, but we will not kidnap you, we will do anything. You have to pay some fine for straying into their territory."
He was
their
lucky.
areas, yes, of jurisdiction. Very lucky. They had to contribute some money, give to the driver, and and they were turned back.
Wow.
Say, never you make the mistake. You are telling the driver of taking this route. Because, yes, that the jurisdiction, the administrative jurisdiction of this part is now under their effective control.
In Nigeria?
Yes, and that exemplifies the seriousness of the situation. It's insecurity. I think I was listening to Alhaji Shikafi, wartime deputy governor of Zamfara State, yesterday on air, where he said that all the 40 local government areas in Zamfara State are under siege.
Wow.
The government, maybe for political reasons, is trying to downplay the seriousness of the situation. There's no way you can add pregnancy. The situation is there, and it requires concerted efforts. Whatever, because security of life is the primary responsibility of government. We are talking because there's a relative peace or security. There are some parts of the country you can't do this. So, to the extent that the Buhari government and this government that is almost 1 year old, they could not stem the tide to that extent, they fail. They fail. Woeful. Nobody is saying.
Now, Barrister, you rightly stated something.
Yeah.
Barrister, you rightly stated something about insecurity and what the government is supposed to provide, which is to provide life and properties. Now, this has not protect life and properties. This has not been given. This has not been actualized. Definitely, we can simply say the government has failed the masses. Now, if this cannot be given, doesn't mean that the government is not placing priority on insecurity issues as of this moment.
I think it's not as if the government is not prioritizing security. The insecurity we are witnessing, we are all witnessing, is a manifestation of a deeper problem, which is corruption. During Buhari government, without authorization, he withdrew $1 billion from the SS crude account to purchase arms and ammunition. This was overlooked by the National Assembly. Perhaps not to be seen as opposing attempts by the executive to fight insecurity. That was clearly an impeachable offense. It was retroactively endorsed. So billions of dollars have been pumped into the various measures attempt to fight insecurity, but the results are not commensurate with the amount that has been spent. If something is wrong, there were reports that some of the equipment or weapons purchased were refurbished, and nobody has been brought to book. Reports of diversion of funds meant for the welfare of soldiers, some of whom have openly protested. Nobody, to the best of my knowledge, has been brought to book. So insecurity is a manifestation of corruption, endemic corruption in Nigeria.
Now,
we have Gala soldiers that have excelled in international military operations. And they have been commended, even the country has been commended on several occasions for that. So why is it that we cannot confront a ragtag army, people with military formations like Boko Haram? So something is missing somewhere. That is it.
Now, talking about something missing somewhere, someone once defined insecurity as a feeling of inadequacy, uncertainty, anxiety, fear, anger, and a whole lot of emotion put together. Now, there have been accusation and counter-accusation of some people in the corridors of power sponsoring insecurity in the country. We've had that time and again, and some of those that were accused or alleged of being the sponsors of insecurity are still in government or have been in past government. How do you balance these allegations to the situation in the country, to the tune or the fact that we are yet, or every government that has come in, since we had insecurity at this level, are yet to tackle once and for all this level of insecurity that is widespread in the nation?
Well, what you have described, as I've said, is part of the larger corruption that has characterized every policy, the operation of government. You remember some people were apprehended in Dubai, United Anire. They were tried and jailed for sponsoring and for terrorism financing, for short. And they recommended some people for prosecution, gave the list to the former Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Malami, for prosecution. That was the end of it. That was, we never, no, only recently we heard that a few people were being interrogated for being sponsors of terror, of insecurity generally. John, come on, let's not be jokers in this country. How can terrorists drive several vehicles, trucks to a school, spend several hours picking up students, and drive to their location without being apprehended? Buses. You drive buses into the forest, and nobody sees these people taking these little children away. Something is wrong. And on several occasions, our military men have been ambushed based on information leaked to terrorists. We are coming, so there is eternal support, corruption. People, I want to believe that government knows those sponsoring terrorism, insecurity in Nigeria. What the various intelligence outfits, agencies in this country, what is their job? How many people have been arrested and prosecuted? So it's a deeper problem than we envisage. So every effort should be made to apprehend the sponsors of terror. Until that is done, we won't make any headway.
All right, Barrister, talking about how to apprehend these people, I and Anire were having a discussion some days back, and we're talking about amnesty, the situation where we have some people, adding criminals that have been apprehended, and at the end of the day, the government say we've granted them amnesty, and most of them are joining the armed forces. These are a very big situation. This is a very big situation that is going around that is not really making sense, because I'm trying to make sense of it. What is your take? Do you think it's the right thing to do? And if it's not the right thing to do you think it's one of the problems we are facing in our insecurity in Nigeria?
Yeah, it's one of the problems. People maimed, killed, and did all sorts of terrible things, committed heinous crime. At the end of the day, after a few weeks of they are apprehended, and after a few weeks you say they have been rehabilitated, and you now absorb them into the same military. Some of them who were so absorbed have been apprehended for committing the same offense for which they were arrested. In any case, don't we have Nigerians that are ready to join the military, to enlist in the military? Why do you go for murderers, for killers as recruits? It was one of the strange policies of Buhari government. very strange, very patriotic, and it was based on this parochial approach to governance throughout. He was a provincial leader, and he did not see anything wrong in that. He saw it as a way of helping his people, which was quite unreasonable. And that is why we are where we are.
I wish we could go on and on. I wish we could go on and on with the conversation, Barrister, but we've just been told that we've run out of time completely. But this is what we'll do. It therefore means that you have to be back again on the show to help analyze some of these issues as it affects us as Nigerians.
I want to say, Anire, we are going to do like the Nigerians. This discussion is going to be inconclusive.
Inconclusive. There definitely must be a continuation of these ideas. We'll talk about State of the Nation some other time. We appreciate you for being on the show, and we hope to see you once again. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, our discussion for today. Not really promising and hopeful, but my take is that you keep hope alive, because once your hope is not broken, there's hope for a better tomorrow, that the sun will shine when day break. My name is Anire Binitie. Thanks for being part of the show today. Take care of yourself. From my end, bye for now.
And as she has said, don't lose hope. That is the only thing we can hang on now. As Nigerians, I always say I'm optimistic and I believe so much in the great Nigeria. We are going to be there no matter what. We are stronger than the obstacles that we face, and we are going to overcome. And when we overcome, we will sing a song of victory. From here, I remain Micheal Obagiri.